Got some new info hot off the press. I've just been told that EWOKS will indeed be needed for C3PO. This is big news, and I know a lot of people have kind of been predicting this for a long time. I actually have to wave the white flag and say I was wrong because I wasn't buying EWOKS for C3PO. It just kind of feels a little bit memey to me, if that makes sense, because it was kind of a gag. You know, it was funny that the Ewoks thought C3PO was their god, but hey, you know what? I guess in the game, C3PO is their god, and so you're going to need the Ewoks to unlock C3PO. We do know that it will be any combination of Ewoks. And so there aren't specific Ewoks you're going to need. I know that may cause some of you to breathe a sigh of relief. I have my doubts on what that's going to look like exactly, because the best Ewok team is going to have some of those harder to get Ewoks, especially like Wicket. And so are they going to frame the event in a way that kind of pushes you to farm those harder to get Ewoks if you want to beat it? I think there's a good chance. I'm not 100% sure, but that sure as heck is what I feel like they did for Chewbacca. It was kind of like if you didn't have Bosk at, really well farmed, you're going to really struggle in that event. Some people were able to do it, but a lot of people did just need to go ahead and get Bosk. And so that remains to be seen. We also do not know yet if this is going to be a legendary 5-star unlock, technically. All we know is that you need Ewoks to get them. Now, I find it extremely unlikely that this is going to be a hero's journey or a journey type event. It's C3PO. So I feel like we can rest easy and plan on a 5-star unlock like we had for R2-D2. That's the best comparison I can think of. But, I mean, don't count your chickens before they hatch. You never know. The Revan event wasn't a Hero's Journey event. It was a Journey event. It was the first event of that type that we saw technically. And so tradition can always be broken. R2-D2 to me feels like the best comparison to this because R2-D2 and C3PO were pretty much inseparable, and CG, I really hope that we have a lot of nods to that synergy between C3PO and R2-D2. I think that's pretty likely. That event, for those of you who remember when R2-D2 first hit, that was one of the harder legendary events before Thrawn. Thrawn was probably harder, and then of course C3PO was, Chewbacca was the hardest. So as far as difficulty is concerned, I would be ready for this to be pretty challenging. This might require us to gear up our Ewoks quite a bit, especially because a lot of us late game players probably have a team of Ewoks. I mean, there's already been incentive in the game to farm a good team of Ewoks for the Endor Escalation event, which is coming up here in 3 days, and that event gives you Zetas, and so that in and of itself is worth having Ewoks for. So is the current team that you're using to beat Endor Escalation going to be enough to unlock C3PO? I hope so, because that's what I got. So I really hope it's going to be enough. But I feel like they're going to want us to invest resources beyond that. At least that seems to be what CG is usually trying to do with these legendary type events, is create a drive to spend resources in the game and money, of course, towards specific characters. And so if most of us already have this team ready, then what's the point for them, right? So I would be ready, even for you guys who feel like you're sitting comfortably, to invest resources. I wouldn't do it yet, though. So my best recommendation I could give is make sure you have the stars first. At a minimum, 5 Ewoks that have 5 stars. Hopefully that will be enough to at least unlock C3PO. If you're close enough, definitely go for broke and go for 7 stars. Even if he's a 5-star unlock, it's always better to have the character at 7 stars if you can, and who knows what kind of raid implications he's going to have. I actually think it's pretty likely that he'll have raid implications for the simple fact that we have a pretty established arena meta right now. I find it unlikely that C3PO will shake that meta dramatically this fast, because I feel like we're still settling into that. Now, he could, but what I think is more likely is that we'll have a high raid utility character. Don't quote me on it, though. He could be fantastic for arena. So Which Ewoks should you be working towards? If you have a team of, if you've got the Paplu, you've got, let's see, a Zedon Chirpa, you've got Logray, you've got Scout, those, or Wicket. I mean, that will probably be ideal. But again, those are the harder to get characters. And so in answering the easiest 5 Ewoks to get, I think that's probably going to be Teebo number 1, obviously. I mean, if you've been playing this game longer than a few months, hopefully you have Teebo farmed. He's in the Galactic War Store. If you don't have him quite there yet, that's going to be easy to blitz without interrupting any of these other farms. There's really no excuse to not just go for broke on Teebo if you don't have him already. Paplu and Chirpa are both in the Cantina, and so I would kind of recommend going for both of them. Hopefully you have at least Chirpa. Maybe you've slacked on Paplu, and so if you've got Chirpa, great. There's your leader. I wouldn't necessarily recommend putting a Zeta on him right away, but I would recommend going for Paplu in the Cantina, assuming you already have Chirpa. If not, you may need to split those resources. And then you've got 2 hard node characters that I'm hoping would work, Ewok Elder and Scout. Ewok Elder, I'm guessing, could be a pretty vital component of this team. He's in hard node 2C. I think that is, let's see, hard node 2C for Ewok Elder. That's a light hard node. And then Scout is in hard 1A, light side as well. And so you can farm both of those characters at the same time. But Ewok Elder in particular, if there's one character I'm probably going to want to have tanky, it's Ewok Elder, because he's the one who's going to be able to help keep your team alive, keep those revives going, which might be important to keeping you in the battle when you get to the end. And a lot of you are going to have Ewok teams that aren't super polished. I mean, unless you're a Kraken. And to those of you guys, I mean, tip of the cap to you. Those of us, common folk are going to have to maybe have a little bit of come from behind wins if our Ewoks aren't 100% there. And Ewok Elder could be really critical in that just because of those revives. So if your Ewoks aren't super polished, probably the easiest 5 that I would recommend going for broke on are going to be Teebo, Paplu, Chirpa, Ewok Elder, and Ewok Scout. And of course, Chirpa would be the go-to leader on that. And then again, save those resources. Even though I really feel like there's a good chance this is going to be a tough event, especially because these Ewoks have been out for a long time. A lot of us are going to have them. CG needs to create some incentive for us to farm something in the game. And so I'm guessing it'll be hard. But just in case, every time a legendary event comes out, everybody gets on Reddit and they complain about how hard it is, and then somebody posts a video of them beating it with Gear 8 characters. Maybe that'll be the case for this, and maybe there'll be a specific attack strategy that makes that possible. My guess is there won't be, and so as an insurance plan, what I do recommend doing is obviously get the stars there, but also farm the gear, just don't equip it, because ultimately, all you really need your Ewoks for in the game right now is that indoor escalation event. I mean, there are other areas you can make them useful. You want to use them in light side territory battles. Sweet, you're a hipster in territory battles. That's awesome. Some people use them in offense for territory wars, and yeah, that's cool. I mean, maybe there's a few niche teams that you can beat there. That's probably going to apply to those of you who really went for broke on the Ewoks and have them at like Gear 11, Gear 12. Otherwise, all you really need to use these Ewoks for is that Endor Escalation event, which, by the way, you definitely want to farm Ewoks for if possible, and then now to unlock C3PO. And so I personally plan on having my Ewoks at the bare minimum requirement possible. And so farm the gear, have it there just in case, and then if you don't need it, great. You can go equip it to some of your primary farm priorities. All right, my friends, let me know down in the comments what you are looking forward to with C3PO. I am so excited for this character. I know a lot of people think C3PO is basically the Jar Jar Binks of the original trilogy, but you know what? He's iconic. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I love the original trilogy, and C3PO is a huge part of that, okay? You don't like C3PO? Fine, but look, he's a big part of it, and we haven't had him in this game's history for 3 years, and so I'm stoked to see that we're getting him, and I really hope that him and R2-D2 are going to be a dynamic duo comparable to Chirrut and Baze, because they deserve it. And even though they don't look like they're doing that much, They're there. They're involved in everything that happens in the rebellion. They're assets to the rebellion, and so they deserve that. Anyway, let me know what you think and speculate a little bit. What do you think his kit will be? I think it's got to be a completely passive kit like Hermit Yoda, but it remains to be seen. I'm sure more details are soon to come if they're not here already. Thanks again for joining me for the video, my friends, and as always, my brothers, don't forget.
My dead body. Sorry about the mess.